Hello and welcome back to Radiant Womanhood. I have to be honest with you today. This week is probably going to look and sound just a little bit different to you because this episode is coming to you from my car. Yes, I am recording in my car today from the front seat of our vehicle because life has thrown us some serious curveballs lately. And in the span of just 2 weeks, our town, our neighborhood, our city, our state has had, and more states, has had not one, but two hurricanes. And for this second hurricane, we were in a mandatory evacuation zone. So on top of that, the same day that the hurricane was to make landfall, it was also my daughter's boot camp graduation in a whole nother state. So with airports shut down, flights canceled, we were determined to make it to her no matter what. It has been a whirlwind of packing up the kids and whatever else we needed to bring to safety, trying to keep the kids calm, make it out even through empty gas stations and empty ATMs along the way. And at one point, it felt almost like just surviving, It's been a lot of different things happening all at once. But this situation has brought me face to face with something that I've been reflecting on lately, and this powerful truth that I came across that's really changed the way that I approach challenges. And so that's what I want to talk about and share today, coming from a place of living through this moment. Like as I sit here in my car recording right now, no studio, no microphones, just the screen in front of me. And just coming to you from this place of walking through these challenges, and really something that has absolutely shifted the way that I approach these things. And so I just want to ask this, like, have you ever caught yourself thinking, well, once I get through this, then I'll have time to focus on insert blank here, myself, these dreams, something I've wanted to work on. Or when this difficult season passes that I'm in right now, then I can start working on whatever that might be, my dreams, taking care of my own needs. Maybe you're from where I'm from, near Tampa, Florida, and like, okay, once hurricane season passes, then I can focus on da 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 da. But what if we've got it all wrong? What if that frame of thinking and that way of thinking isn't the way to bring the ability to bloom wherever we might be? What if life is those hard things are meant to grow us in some way, and they don't necessarily leave, they just change. So instead of waiting for easy or waiting for it to get better or waiting to get past this certain thing, we instead need to learn how to handle the hard better. There's a speech that's been circling around YouTube for a while now, and it's by Coach Kara Lawson from Duke University. And in it, she says, we all wait in life for things to get easier. It will never get easier. What happens is you handle hard better. So make yourself a person that handles hard well. And when I heard that, and I actually heard that while we were on our way evacuating. So it hit at the right time. And it feels like this wake-up call, because a lot of times we think, okay, once this hard thing is over, everything will smooth out. We'll be able to finally focus on ourselves or start that project we've been dreaming about. But here's the truth. There will always be something hard. And I don't mean to bring that in a negative way or doom and gloom, but it's life. There's going to be different challenges. Like think about it in terms of when you're in high school and you're like, oh man, once I get past high school, college will be so much more fun. I'll have more freedom. It'll be easier. Once I get out of college, once I'm done with school, I can start having kids and raising a family, and that'll be easier. When you think about it like that, right? Have things become easier, or have you learned how to handle? Have you grown through those different situations that you've been in and learned how to handle things differently? There's a certain level of hard in every stage. I remember that even with kids and with our firstborn. My firstborn was colicky. And so I was like, oh, once we get out of this stage, it'll be easy. And then we hit teenage years. Sometimes it's like, I just want a newborn back, So there are different levels of hard in different stages of life. It doesn't mean that it's all bad. hard doesn't always equal bad, but sometimes we just want to move past all the hard stuff so we can have it easy. But those who have success in life, those who are not stuck in the same cycle after cycle, are those who've learned to handle the hard well. Instead of waiting for life to calm down, we need to shift the way we see it, our mindset. It's not about hoping for easier days, but learning how to navigate the hard ones with more grace, more strength, more resilience, more, what can I learn from this? And it's that mental shift that's everything. I do think it's a completely natural reaction to just want the hard stuff to end. And especially when you're going through something that does feel traumatic, maybe, or hopeless at times. I know there has been so much devastation around us with these hurricanes, and we just want that to end. But think about it in terms of life in general as well. Sometimes we think, I'll wait until the kids are older, or, when this busy season of work is over, or when things settle down at home, and then we'll make time for ourselves. Then insert whatever it is here. For me, for a little while, it's like, when I don't have two in diapers anymore, then I can. When my kids are out of this stage, or when I'm feeling better, or the list goes on, right? But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to put everything on hold when life feels hard. There are definitely changes to navigate, and we've talked about that on previous episodes before, navigating through these difficult seasons and changes in plans. For example, like our plans for getting to our daughter. We had this entire trip planned out. Every single detail of the trip had to be adjusted. Originally, it was Chris and I flying out for a couple days for her graduation. And of course, all of that shifted when a hurricane was headed for our house. And it was like, pack the kids, pack the car, pack everything we can, get on the road, cancel flights, cancel rental cars, change lodging, all of this. Every single detail needed to be adjusted, but something great happened. Something great came out of it. And instead of it being just Chris and I with her, we were able to have the whole family back together again. It's a mindset shift. When I wrote my first book, a First-Time Mom's Pregnancy Activity book, which is kind of like a mix of what to expect, like a small what to expect, and fun ways to stay entertained while resting, I was actually pregnant with our twins. And then when I wrote Baby Food in an Instant, and it's all about making wholesome baby food in an Instant Pot, I was in the middle of all of those sleepless nights and diaper changes for two with the twins. And yes, they actually ate and sampled all the foods that I made for the book. But the reality is there's always going to be something. Life isn't waiting for things to calm down, and neither should we. That's the trap. If we're always waiting for the perfect time, we will miss out on the growth and the progress of right where we are. The growth and the progress of the hard of whatever situation we're in at the moment. And it's like waiting for the rain to stop so that we can go outside and finally enjoy life. But sometimes we just have to step out in the storm. Sometimes we just have to let the rain fall on our head or dance in the rain. And it sounds cliche, but sometimes you just have to accept where I am right now and learn to handle the hard better. But how, right? How do we make that shift? How do we learn to handle the hard better? Whew, I'm going to keep moving along because I'm getting cold. So let's dive into some practical ways that we can make this shift in our life, because it's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight, but with these intentional changes, we can learn to thrive even when it's like, oh, this is a tough moment. I don't know what to do. So first is just, instead of wishing for the hard season to end, learn to embrace where you're at. And I'm not saying that you should love the challenges, or I'm not saying to accept what it is and not change things, not do something. That's actually the opposite of what I'm saying. But I'm saying that we can stop fighting the hard seasons or wishing it away, because there's power in realizing that there is growth and there is strength, and there is even beauty to be found in every season, even the ones that feel hard. So whether you're in the middle of parenting chaos or stress in your career or personal struggles or outside storms that seem difficult to navigate, there is growth and strength and beauty that can be found in it. And even with these past couple of weeks, with seeing the devastation around us, both at our Mountain View Lodge in North Carolina, in our home in near Tampa, just outside of Tampa, Florida, and almost feeling insignificant in the help that we've offered and been able to offer, even though, yes, we are feet on the ground and we have been, or with the prepping of our home and almost the guilt in leaving, but the determination to get to my daughter no matter what, driving days and states away, but also feeling unsure of what we would come home to. And the uncertainty of being on the road, seeing gas stations empty, town after town. And then the post-hurricane flooding that's been happening right around our neighborhood. I mean, literally outside of our neighborhood has been flooding. Even our kids' teachers had to be rescued by boat with the unexpected flooding post-hurricane. It's the rivers that are rising now. Instead of resenting it, asking myself, what can I learn from this? What beauty can I see in the midst of it? That simple shift is what changes things. I get to choose to embrace the beauty of this time with my family for the blessing that it is, for the special moments that it is. The second thing that we can do is, even in it, we can set those small, achievable goals, those SMART goals. We've talked about that before. But we often put our dreams or our goals completely on hold because we're waiting for a more convenient time. And yes, there are times where things pause, things shift, and things change. But overall, if we are waiting, if you're in a season of waiting for life to be perfect or to have it all figured out before you start, honey, you're never going to start. But instead, I want you to break down the big dreams into those small, bite-sized steps that you can take right now, even in the chaos. If you've been wanting to start a side business, don't wait for everything to be ideal, for the ideal conditions. Maybe today your step is just, okay, I'm going to set aside 10 minutes to research or write down ideas. Progress doesn't have to be huge or massive or fast, but it has to be consistent and happen consistently, even in small ways. So even with that, me recording in my car, I am determined to be consistent in this podcast. So yes, I had to leave my studio without grabbing anything. We had to get out pretty quickly. And so what I am recording, it's maybe not ideal conditions, but I'm being consistent in this podcast, something I am determined to. It's going to be successful and it's going to grow, and I'm going to share from even places of vulnerability and where I'm at and saying, yeah, it's been pretty hard the last couple of weeks, but I'm learning to grow in it. And I'm learning to say, okay, I get to learn to do hard things better. I'm going to be the person that does hard well. And what does that look like sometimes? Showing up. When it is freezing outside, by the way, after graduation, we made it up to North Carolina to check on our rental property, the Mountain View Lodge. And it's been great. Continue praying for the people of North Carolina. And it's also freezing right now. So, yep, I'm sitting in a car with it not running because that would be too much noise in the background so that I can bring this message to you because it's something like from my heart. It's where I'm coming from right now. But is it easy? Nope. But consistent. All I'm trying to say is be consistent with those dreams and with those goals that you have, even in the hard. Even when it's not easy, or even when it feels like sometimes the deck is stacked against you, be consistent in those small, steady steps towards your dreams and towards your goals. Because that's also where the beauty comes from. That's also where you can show, like, I've got the grit to do hard things well. I've got the stamina and the determination to do hard things well. And guess what, my friend? That is where you succeed and where you're going to see those changes and that success. Don't give up when things are hard, but learn from it, grow from it. And the third thing is we can even find joy in that journey. Even in the middle of hard times, it's important to look for and intentionally find joy. And My eyes are watering. I'm crying right now, so it seems opposite, but but we can find it, whether it's even in savoring a quiet cup of coffee. Yes, I find joy in that. It's spending 5 minutes in the sunshine or laughing with your kids. Be intentional about seeing and finding the joy, even in the midst of evacuating for the hurricane or um, going through the first one at home. I found moments of joy with my family, but here's the thing, I could have missed it. I could have been so focused, and there were times that I was, of looking at what was happening around me, of almost living in fear myself or stepping outside of peace to where I could miss the things right in front of me, those little moments of joy with my family. But instead, we were able to spend time together. We told stories, we played games, we made each other laugh. We got to see my oldest, who we haven't seen in months, and hear all about her journey and celebrate with her. And those moments, that joy can fuel us when life feels heavy. But you do have to open your eyes to see it. You do have to have that mindset shift to see it. The fourth thing is handling hard better doesn't mean pushing through to the point of burnout. Or because at some point, self-care is absolutely essential. And I know we've all heard it before, but you can't pour out from an empty cup. And that almost feels, it's not more true, but it's so much even more almost essential when we are constantly pouring out because of a hard time or hard situation. But a lot of times it's the first thing that we neglect when life feels overwhelming. So I want to encourage you, if you are going through those hard things, take just a few moments to breathe. I mean, those deep breaths, those resetting breaths, the breaths that help reset your vagus nerve. And we've talked about that on a previous episode as well about hormones. Something I found is that even just taking 5 minutes for a mental reset, whether it's a quick walk or, like I said, that deep breathing, it helps just to reset and approach the challenges in front of you with more energy and with more clarity. It's like taking a break from that challenge, letting yourself, your mind reset. And the beautiful thing about learning to handle hard better is we grow. We grow in it, just like plants that bloom in rocky soil. Because sometimes that's what life feels like, right? We can grow and bloom even when it feels like that hard season. A way to remember that this challenge in front of you, it's not something to just survive. It's something that helps shape you and refine you. I want to encourage you to stop looking at challenges as just obstacles to get through, but start seeing them as opportunities to become stronger, more resilient, more radiant in your womanhood and who you are. Before we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this. Life isn't suddenly going to get easier. But the good news is that we are capable of getting stronger, of becoming more resilient, of becoming more equipped to handle the hard seasons, which in turn actually makes them feel not so hard. It's like when we've built up the muscle to lift it, and after a while, it's not hard anymore. Why? Because you're handling it better. So when life throws you curveballs, and it will, remember that you can handle hard better. You are strong enough to bloom even in the toughest conditions. Now, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you walk away encouraged to face whatever challenge is in front of you with grace and with strength. And if there's something that you want to share with me that I can encourage you in, feel free to message me. Send me a message, send me a DM or on Instagram at Tabitha Blue or at Radiant Womanhood, because I want to encourage you. And until next time, friend, keep shining.